Chapter 641. The Descent of the Illusory Realm, Suppressing Dozens of Chaos Supremes. Insolence. Whoever you are, regurgitate the prototype of the realm immediately, or your demise today is certain. Bold enough to swallow the realm's prototype, do you take us Supremes for mere decorations? Daring to ingest the realm's prototype, such a transgression demands death. Upon seeing Lin Fei, they were indeed outraged to witness him daring to swallow the realm's prototype. The Supremes, one after another, were incensed. They had guarded the prototype of this realm for so long. Could it be that Lin Fei would reap the benefits so easily? Across the entire chaos, there were dozens of Supremes. Each eyed Lin Fei with fierce indignation, staring intently at him alongside the Azure Emperor Supreme and the Black Tortoise Supreme. Even a murderous intent was apparent. Should Lin Fei's response fail to satisfy them, perhaps they might indeed resort to slaughter. The expressions of the Azure Emperor Supreme and the Black Tortoise Supreme were gravely solemn. They glanced back at Lin Fei, their intent clear. They queried whether it was time to leave now. However, a Supreme seemed to have discerned their intentions. Supremes from all directions had already encircled the trio. Escape now seemed an impossibility. Yet, Lin Fei remained utterly still. In truth, he was fervently integrating with the realm's prototype. Lin Fei realized that merging with the realm's prototype was not an overnight affair. It might require a considerable amount of time. Though the integration process was lengthy, the prototype posed no immediate troubles for Lin Fei's eternal realm. With a swift motion, Lin Fei stirred the illusory realm. With a thunderous roar, Lin Fei unleashed the illusory realm. Instantly, it enveloped the dozens of Supremes within. Despite the presence of some supremely powerful beings amongst these Supremes, and those with formidable mental fortitude, none could withstand the power of Lin Fei's illusory realm. Regardless of their stature, all were effectively subdued. Expressions of bewilderment crossed the faces of all the Supremes. Only a few struggled, their faces showing a hint of struggle. Clearly, such Supremes could not be suppressed by Lin Fei's illusory realm for long. Let's go. At that moment, Lin Fei, along with the Azure Emperor Supreme and others, transformed into a streak of light, swiftly exiting the chaos. As Lin Fei departed, the illusory realm was also retracted. Instantly, without the influence of the illusory realm, the Supremes regained their senses. They looked at each other, exchanging puzzled glances. Where are those three unknown Supremes? And the realm's prototype? Did they truly escape? But I felt as though I was ensnared by an illusion just now. Many of the Supremes didn't even understand what had happened. Only a few among them actually knew the events that had just transpired. Even the illusory realm had not detained them for long. Yet now, they remained silent. The illusory realm. They had been subdued by it. Such an occurrence was unprecedented. These were dozens of Supremes. To think that a single entity could subdue so many was astonishing. Such a Supreme must indeed be of the highest echelon. Even if they pursued it, what then? Especially if pursued alone, it might even be perilous. Thus, they remained speechless. Even though Lin Fei had swallowed the realm's prototype, to them, it was merely a loss of some time. For Supremes, time was least scarce. But to pursue might mean death. The importance of risks versus gains was clear to them. The Supremes we just faced were extraordinary, certainly not of common stock. Indeed, let's not pursue. The realm's prototype has been consumed, and what if we caught up? It would still be dangerous, and we need not take such risks. Those three Supremes clearly came prepared. And with one among them being a top-tier Supreme, our defeat is not unjust. Can a Supreme really be so powerful? I had thought the differences among Supremes were minor, but now I see the gap is indeed vast. Despite some disappointment, they were well aware that the strong reigned supreme in the chaos. Those three Supremes, having the courage and strength to seize the realm's prototype, were undoubtedly powerful, especially Lin Fei. Alone, he subdued dozens of Supremes. This was truly staggering. Let it be, let's return. In the chaos, there are plenty of opportunities. We may have lost the chance for the realm's prototype this time, but other opportunities will arise. Indeed, there are not few opportunities within the chaos. These Supremes each had come to terms with the situation. Moreover, unable to trace Lin Fei's path, they could only depart. In the midst of the chaos. This was an unfamiliar territory of chaos, seemingly unexplored even by the Black Tortoise Supreme. No pursuit. Lin Fei surveyed his surroundings. With a slight sensing, he knew that the other Supremes had not followed. Lin Fei was well prepared. To avoid being tracked, he had no intention whatsoever of returning to the Divine Realm, nor was he traveling in the usual directions. This was a deliberate choice by Lin Fei. Yet, he remained uneasy, concerned for the Azure Emperor Supreme and the Black Tortoise Supreme. Should they, like the Radiant Supreme, be tracked by special means, their return to the Divine Realm could expose it to further threats. Thus, Lin Fei prepared to perform a thorough purge here, at least to remove any potential tracking methods on himself or on the Azure Emperor Supreme and the Black Tortoise Supreme. For other Supremes, such a removal might prove challenging. Indeed, the variety of tracking methods was daunting. Each Supreme practiced a different cultivation system and employed unique tracking techniques. Hence, eradicating all traces of tracking was exceedingly difficult, even for a top-tier Supreme. Yet, in the chaos, to ensure one's own safety and that of their realm, one must learn how to cleanse any potential tracking traces. While other Supremes might find it difficult or impossible to remove these traces, Lin Fei was different. For him, this task was surprisingly simple and effortless, all due to one reason: Lin Fei possessed the Eternal Realm. Once transformed into the Eternal Realm, it could detect any trace of tracking, or rather, any power not belonging to oneself. It could even assist the Azure Emperor Supreme and the Black Tortoise Supreme in purging their traces. Azure Emperor Supreme, Black Tortoise Supreme, please enter my Eternal Realm, Lin Fei invited. Once inside, if there are any tracking methods or residual powers from other Supremes on you, the Eternal Realm will surely detect them. Under its power, all will be purged. No Supreme will be able to trace us or locate the Divine Realm. The Azure Emperor Supreme and the Black Tortoise Supreme nodded in agreement. Very well, we trust you, Martial Ancestor Lin. With no resistance, both Supremes were enveloped into the Eternal Realm by Lin Fei. Within the Eternal Realm, Lin Fei immediately detected residual methods left by other Supremes on himself. The Azure Emperor Supreme and the Black Tortoise Supreme were similarly affected, all bearing marks of tracking and power. However mysterious or hidden these tracking methods or powers were, under the scope of the Eternal Realm, nothing could remain hidden. Lin Fei used the power of the Eternal Realm and eradicated all traces. Azure Emperor Supreme, Black Tortoise Supreme, we can now return to the Divine Realm. Thus, the Azure Emperor Supreme, the Black Tortoise Supreme, and Lin Fei finally set their course back toward the Divine Realm. Chapter 642. Return to the Divine Realm. Attempting to merge with the realm's prototype. Sigh, we've finally returned. Ha ha, what a thrilling adventure this time. Usually, when we traverse the chaos, we tread cautiously, fearing we might provoke someone or stir up trouble. But this time, we clashed with dozens of Supremes and boldly snatched the realm's prototype right in front of them. Now those Supremes must be utterly dumbfounded. Even their secret tracking methods were cleanly shattered by Martial Ancestor Lin, leaving not a trace behind. Upon returning to the Divine Realm, the Black Tortoise Supreme began to praise. It wasn't really flattery, for it was indeed the truth. And truly, he felt exhilarated. The other 6 Supremes also widened their eyes, even feeling some regret for not having followed Lin Fei and the others into the chaos, missing witnessing that spectacle. It was quite a pity. Lin Fei shook his head slightly and said, "It's not as exaggerated as you think. We just caught them off guard this time. The Supremes of the chaos have various methods. My descent of the illusory realm isn't as powerful as you think. Some Supremes actually recovered in an instant, they merely pretended to be subdued by the illusory realm." Lin Fei's words surprised both the Black Tortoise Supreme and the Azure Emperor Supreme. They hadn't expected there to be such deeply concealed Supremes. Indeed, the vast chaos should never be underestimated. Otherwise, one might not even know how they died. The chaos is perilously dangerous. One must be extremely cautious. However, thankfully, this mission could be considered a complete success. Lin Fei and the others had been gone for nearly 6 to 7 months, but they had acquired the realm's prototype. This was an item of infinite potential. Of course, only Lin Fei could harness the full power of the realm's prototype. Fellow Supremes, I must now enter seclusion. Once the realm's prototype is removed from its place of origin, it might cease its transformation. If the realm's prototype stops transforming, then our effort in seizing it would have been meaningless. Therefore, I must seclude myself and ponder over this matter. If the dark demon domain rises again, you may awaken me. With these words, Lin Fei proceeded to his seclusion. He was well aware of the importance of this seclusion, thus, he specifically made it clear to the Azure Emperor Supreme and the others. Unless it was the resurgence of the dark demon domain, all other matters were trivial and should not disturb him. Lin Fei swiftly entered the chamber, and with a mere thought, his consciousness plunged into the eternal realm. Inside, a realm's prototype was present, actively resisting the eternal realm. Indeed, it was a confrontation. Lin Fei's eternal realm had merely swallowed the realm's prototype, but had not yet merged with it. Merging was far from a simple task, rather, it was exceedingly challenging. After all, the realm's prototype held the potential to evolve into a complete realm. And Lin Fei's eternal realm? It was merely at the true monarch level, above which lay the true immortal level worlds, and only above that, the realm that could live in the chaos. Thus, Lin Fei's eternal realm was significantly inferior to a full realm. For the eternal realm to fully absorb the realm's prototype was like a snake swallowing an elephant, potentially choking in the attempt. It was uncertain whether, upon merging, the realm's prototype or the eternal realm would dominate. Lin Fei naturally favored dominance by the eternal realm, as he could control it. If the realm's prototype were to dominate, Lin Fei might lose control over the eternal realm. Moreover, if after merging the realm's prototype took precedence, it would be akin to Lin Fei being consumed by it, a loss too great to justify. Thus, a solution was needed to flawlessly merge the realm's prototype under the dominion of the eternal realm. Lin Fei quietly observed the realm's prototype. This prototype was isolated by the eternal realm in a vast space, suppressed. The realm's prototype was non-aggressive, but since being moved from its birthplace, it had begun to shrink, its essence weakening daily. Furthermore, Lin Fei could no longer feel any life force gestating within it. In other words, the realm's prototype was gradually dying. Given this trend, it wouldn't be long before the prototype was rendered useless, let alone evolve into a true realm. That was simply impossible. I cannot let the realm's prototype continue to deteriorate. It must be merged. And the eternal realm must dominate. Merging all aspects of the realm's prototype is unwise. Then, can I merge only the core of the realm's prototype? That is, the core that might allow the realm's prototype to slowly transform into a full realm. That is the key. Lin Fei's mind flickered with countless flashes of insight. What exactly was at the core of the realm's prototype? After some thought, Lin Fei prepared to dissect the realm's prototype. Using the power of the eternal realm, he began to forcibly suppress the prototype, gradually separating it part by part. Start with the outer layer. These outer layers are merely the attached forces of the realm's prototype and actually play no role in its potential to form a complete realm. Lin Fei detached the external forces of the realm's prototype. Instantly, the prototype shrank by 80%. Only 20% remained. This was approximately the core of the realm's prototype. With a gentle touch of his consciousness, boom, Lin Fei felt that the realm's prototype was incredibly chaotic. Various laws, rules, and primal sources were in disarray. However, deep within the realm's prototype, there seemed to be a peculiar force. It had vitality, the key element allowing the realm's prototype to continually evolve. Upon closer inspection, it appeared as a small, pitch-black hole, seemingly absorbing external forces endlessly and transforming them into new energy, continuously sustaining the core of the realm's prototype. Is this black hole the core of the realm's prototype? Lin Fei furrowed his brow. He was uncertain. But even if he swallowed the core of the realm's prototype, could he truly gain complete control? That was not guaranteed. Unpredictable issues might arise. Yet, under the current circumstances, how could he not take a risk? Relying on the eternal realm to evolve on its own, even with a tenfold acceleration in time, how long would it take to evolve into a true immortal level world? As for becoming a realm, that had never even been considered. Therefore, after much deliberation and weighing his options for a long time, Lin Fei finally made a decision. No matter what, I have to try. I can suppress even the realm's prototype. Why not its core? If there's any unusual force, I can immediately remove it. My eternal realm is completely under my control. Any issue can be resolved immediately. So, I must swallow the core of the realm's prototype and see. After much contemplation, Lin Fei made up his mind. That was to give it a try. With this thought, he hesitated no longer. Realm's prototype, open up. With a thought from Lin Fei, the power of the eternal realm immediately descended upon the realm's prototype. Crack. Finally, the realm's prototype fractured. Chapter 643. Merging with the core of the realm, transformation begins. The realm's prototype was inherently fragile. Under the pressure exerted by Lin Fei's eternal realm, it quickly cracked open. As the realm's prototype fractured, its terrifying power surged forth tumultuously. Even Lin Fei's eternal realm was shaken. However, this power seemed to weaken rapidly and could not sustain itself. Thus, the eternal realm steadied itself. Once the realm's prototype shattered, all external forces began to dissipate swiftly. There was no turning back now. There was only moving forward, no retreat allowed. Success was the only option, for if it failed, there was no second realm's prototype for Lin Fei to attempt with. With no way back, Lin Fei's resolve only strengthened. Continue. Lin Fei kept breaking apart the realm's prototype. Gradually, it kept shrinking until it finally revealed a pitch-black hole, seemingly devouring power from all directions, capable of absorbing all forms of energy. Black hole. Lin Fei didn't know the function of this black hole, but it seemed to be the core of the realm's prototype. Whether this black hole could transform Lin Fei's eternal realm into a realm, he had to find out for himself. Merge. Lin Fei did not ponder for long, as there was no time to hesitate. Deprived of power, the black hole became unstable, seemingly on the verge of collapse. Should it collapse, it would dissipate completely, and the realm's prototype would be lost. Thus, Lin Fei's eternal realm swept towards the black hole. Hum. The eternal realm enveloped the black hole, immediately causing intense fluctuations within. Boom. The black hole began to absorb all sorts of forces, laws, rules, life, and more, seemingly devouring everything. This isn't right. If this continues, the eternal realm will collapse. Lin Fei furrowed his brow. He felt that the black hole didn't function this way within the realm's prototype. In the realm's prototype, the black hole did devour. But after devouring, it transformed the energy into another type of force. A force that sustained the entire realm's prototype, even allowing it to continue evolving and transforming into a true realm, not just mindlessly consuming everything without producing special power. Is the method incorrect? Or is this just the nature of the black hole? Lin Fei pondered, his brow creased in thought. For now, the eternal realm could still endure for a considerable period, so there was no need for immediate panic. I'll try the world origin. Lin Fei gritted his teeth. The world's origin is the core of any world. Without it, everything else is meaningless and the world itself would cease to exist. Thus, Lin Fei would not resort to using the world origin unless absolutely necessary. After all, it was the heart of the eternal realm. But now, he had to attempt it, otherwise, all his previous efforts would be in vain. Lin Fei then mobilized a portion of the eternal realm's original power, channeling it into the black hole. Boom. The black hole trembled slightly, causing even the entire eternal realm to quake. Immediately after, Lin Fei could clearly feel that something was transforming within the black hole, and it seemed to be nurturing something. Could it be successful? Lin Fei's eyes widened. He held his breath and focused intently on the black hole. The black hole seemed to be continuously nurturing. It was unclear how much time had passed, but finally, the black hole began to operate again. Simultaneously, Lin Fei's consciousness seemed to form a connection with the black hole. It appeared that after the black hole had absorbed Lin Fei's origin, it naturally became a part of the eternal realm. Lin Fei could now control the black hole. Indeed, the black hole is the core of the realm's prototype. This black hole should be called the realm core. The previous realm's prototype formed gradually because of this black hole. To evolve into a realm, the realm core is necessary. The realm core seems to form naturally and can only form within the chaos. Without a realm core, even a true immortal level world could never transform into a realm. Lin Fei finally understood. That's why the ancient continent, despite its lengthy existence and the emergence of true immortals and martial ancestors, had never evolved into a realm. It was because it lacked a realm core. And the realm core can only form within the chaos under obscure and stringent conditions. Once a realm core is born, if there are no accidents, it will gradually develop into a complete realm. Now, Lin Fei was in a similar situation. He had fortuitously acquired the realm's prototype and obtained the realm core within it. He had completely integrated it into the eternal realm, and through the world origin, he had fully merged and taken control of the realm core. It was akin to the heart of a human body. Lin Fei, through the world origin, had turned the realm core into the heart of the eternal realm. Seal. Now that Lin Fei understood the function of the realm core, he willed it and immediately moved the realm core into the sea of origin within the eternal realm. Boom. The void itself trembled violently. The entire eternal realm was also shaking intensely. The realm core could only digest the world origin. Only by absorbing the world's origin could it transform and produce a unique power that would allow the world to continue evolving. For instance, Lin Fei's eternal realm was at the true monarch level. If it is endowed with a realm core continuously converting into unique realm powers, it would be akin to slowly transforming a true monarch level world. Practically without any bottleneck, it could swiftly be transformed into a true immortal level world. And then continue transforming, eventually becoming a realm. Such is the terrifying nature of the realm core. Or rather, this is the true function of the realm core. Lin Fei no longer needed to search for any essences of flesh and blood. It was pointless. He only needed the world origin. However, Lin Fei's eternal realm didn't have much world origin. Unless he went to the chaos, where the chaos chi, to some extent, could substitute for the world origin. The chaos chi, unusable by even supremes, could be absorbed by the realm core and slowly transformed into realm power. Of course, this transformation was extremely slow. Otherwise, the realm's prototype wouldn't need such a long time to evolve into a true realm. There was another method, the most direct and fastest method, directly plundering the world origin of other worlds. Then, as the realm core continuously devoured the world origin, it could incessantly convert it into realm power, thus quickly transforming Lin Fei's eternal realm. World origin, I need a vast amount of world origin. Otherwise, how many years would it take just by undergoing arduous cultivation in the chaos? 1,000 years? 10,000 years? Or even 100,000, a million years? With the threat of the dark demon domain, I can't wait. The divine realm also can't wait. Lin Fei murmured in a low voice, a sharp gleam flickering in his eyes. It was pointless to endure arduous cultivation in the chaos. There was no sense in it. He had already delayed almost 10 months. It had also been about 10 months since the Dark Demon domain had ceased its advance, nearly a year. Who knew what the Dark Demon Lord was brewing? Or perhaps, if the Dark Demon Lord had left the Divine Realm and returned to the Dark Demon domain, who knew when he would return? Once the Dark Demon Lord returned to the Divine Realm, it was unquestionable. The Dark Demon Lord would certainly have a way to deal with Lin Fei. Then, if Lin Fei's strength had not undergone a qualitative transformation, it would be very dangerous. Thus, Lin Fei had to rapidly enhance his power, even if it meant at all costs. Lin Fei immediately rose and left the chamber. The matter of collecting a vast amount of world origin, he still had to discuss with the Azure Emperor Supreme and the other 8 Supremes. Chapter 644. The Dark Demon Lord's Treasure, the Sphere of Demonic Clouds. Lin Fei left the chamber and found the Azure Emperor Supreme. Lin Fei, you've emerged from seclusion so soon. The Azure Emperor Supreme was surprised. He observed that Lin Fei's aura didn't seem much stronger, and such a short period in seclusion likely meant minimal gains. Was the seclusion not effective? Did it fail? Failure in cultivation was common, and the Azure Emperor Supreme himself had many such experiences. Lin Fei nodded and replied, Azure Emperor Supreme, my seclusion has indeed ended. I've nearly fully researched and integrated the realm's prototype. My eternal realm hasn't transformed yet, but now there's a clear direction forward. I even have the confidence to eventually evolve the eternal realm into a realm. However, I'm missing some key resources. With those resources, I can transform the eternal realm. What resources do you need? World origin, a substantial amount of world origin. Lin Fei articulated each word distinctly. World origin. The Azure Emperor Supreme's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise before he slightly relaxed. If it's just world origin you need, then we 8 Supremes can mobilize our forces to gather it for you. Even if it's world origin from true monarch-level worlds, we can collect it for you. Furthermore, we could sweep through the entire Divine Realm to continuously obtain world origin. The Azure Emperor Supreme immediately decided and even had a plan to sweep the worlds within the Divine Realm. There are many worlds in the Divine Realm, especially minor worlds, as numerous as the sands of the Ganges, and the Divine Realm is still birthing new small worlds. So, if it's just world origin, the Azure Emperor Supreme could provide it. Thank you, Azure Emperor Supreme, and all the other Supremes, Lin Fei said. World origin, whether it's from true immortal level worlds, true monarch level worlds, or even minor worlds, all are acceptable. As long as there is world origin, my eternal realm will definitely transform. Even once the eternal realm evolves to a true immortal level world, even if the Dark Demon Lord returns or has treasures from the Dark Demon domain, they won't be able to affect me. Lin Fei left something unsaid. If his eternal realm truly evolved into a true immortal level world, he could even overpower any Supreme, including the Dark Demon Lord. Then, the invasion from the Dark Demon domain would not be sustainable. Thus, world origin is crucial for Lin Fei at this moment and even for the entire Divine Realm. I understand, said the Azure Emperor Supreme. Lin Fei, rest assured. World origin will continuously be delivered to your hands. You can just quietly wait in Ancient City. Lin Fei nodded, then turned and left the Ancient Covenant. Next, Lin Fei waited quietly in Ancient City, and indeed, the Azure Emperor Supreme did not disappoint him. The next day, Lin Fei began receiving world origin. Though the quantities were initially small, they indeed were what he needed. And this was just the beginning. Over the following days, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and beyond, massive amounts of world origin were delivered to Lin Fei daily. Lin Fei directly funneled all the world's origins into the realm core. Transformed by the realm core, it became realm power, swiftly elevating the level of Lin Fei's eternal realm. Initially, Lin Fei's world was already at the true monarch level, yet his progress was at a standstill, 0%. But now, Lin Fei's eternal realm was finally progressing again, 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. The perpetual increase was evident and occurred almost daily. Lin Fei could distinctly feel his power growing by the day. Once his eternal realm transformed into a true immortal level world, Lin Fei believed even the Dark Demon Lord, without relying on the illusory realm, would be no match for him. Still, this transformation required time. For away in the Dark Demon domain, the Dark Demon Lord stood in the void. In the Dark Demon domain, he was the absolute ruler, controlling the life and death of anyone, even Supremes. Yet, at this moment, the Dark Demon Lord's expression was gravely serious. He was retrieving a treasure, a phenomenal treasure essential for conquering the Divine Realm. Now, he had to take a slight risk. Deep in a massive valley, there lay a giant multicolored sphere, bound by thick chains. Upon closer inspection, these chains were formed from the rules and laws of the Dark Demon domain itself, securely locking the sphere. Only the Dark Demon Lord had such capabilities. After all, in the Dark Demon domain, he was the supreme ruler capable of easily suppressing any Supreme. Even here, the Dark Demon Lord's power was above all others. Gazing at the multicolored sphere, the Dark Demon Lord's expression hardened, his eyes flashing with resolve. He coldly stated, I refuse to believe that in the Dark Demon domain, you can still turn the tides. Ha! In the Dark Demon domain, no matter the challenge, I can handle it. To deal with the Divine Realm, particularly that Lin Fei, I must control the sphere of demonic clouds. It is said that the sphere of demonic clouds can seal all powers. All forces beneath domination will be completely sealed. The Dark Demon Lord took a deep breath, contemplating the sphere of demonic clouds. Asserting that it could seal all powers below dominion might have been a bit absolute, but the formidable nature of the sphere was truly terrifying. Under normal circumstances, the Dark Demon Lord would not need to rush, he could slowly understand and master the sphere of demonic clouds. However, the current situation in the Divine Realm was increasingly disadvantageous for the Dark Demon domain. If things continued this way, he might not master the sphere before the forces of the Dark Demon domain were pushed back to their own realm. The Dark Demon Lord could not allow this to happen, especially since this invasion of the Divine Realm had consumed considerable resources and effort. It wasn't something he could simply abandon. Despite some instability factors, the Dark Demon Lord felt confident. As long as he was within the Dark Demon domain, he believed everything was under his control. The sphere of demonic clouds, a serendipitous discovery during his reign, was considered one of his strokes of luck. The sphere was renowned in the chaos. It was said to be one of the treasures birthed within the chaos itself and was even rumored to exist in multiple instances across the chaos. Once obtained, it could rapidly and immensely bolster one's strength. Dark Demon Lord felt that to confront the Divine Realm and Lin Fei, the sphere of demonic clouds needed to be employed. "Let's begin," the Dark Demon Lord muttered to himself as he took another deep breath. "Open." In the next instant, an immense force of laws descended like a sharp, massive saber, striking fiercely upon the sphere of demonic clouds. Boom. The sphere trembled violently, releasing a terrifying power seemingly related to the chaos, continuously eroding the laws and rules of the Dark Demon domain. Seizing the moment, the Dark Demon Lord immersed his consciousness into the sphere of demonic clouds, aiming to gain control over it through his will. When his consciousness penetrated the sphere, "What is this?" Suddenly, the Dark Demon Lord's eyes widened in disbelief at the scene unfolding before him. What did he see that could shake even the ruler of the Dark Demon domain to his core? Chapter 645. Eternal Realm transforms again, true immortal level world. The Dark Demon Lord was profoundly shaken. His mind immersed within the sphere of demonic clouds, he discovered something unexpected: water. But not just any water, this was chaos-heavy water. Normally, the chaos was filled with chaotic energies, not water. However, under certain conditions, when chaotic energies continuously condense, influenced by the right environmental factors and over extended periods, they could merge together with chaos's inherent rules to form a special kind of water, chaos-heavy water. This type of water was exceedingly rare, often taking ages to form even a single drop. Yet, within the sphere of demonic clouds, it was like a raging river, tumultuous with chaos-heavy water. Gaining control over the sphere of demonic clouds essentially meant mastering this vast reservoir of chaos-heavy water. Under the influence of this water, even a casual strike from the sphere could be unbearable for ordinary supremes. Moreover, chaos-heavy water also had the ability to seal powers. Almost no supreme below the level of dominion could break through the seal of chaos-heavy water. Thus, the Dark Demon Lord was ecstatic. "Ha ha ha, the heavens are indeed aiding me. Who would have thought that within the sphere of demonic clouds, there would be such an abundance of chaos-heavy water? With so much of it, I can traverse the chaos with authority. With the sphere of demonic clouds, even outside the Dark Demon domain, I can wield power almost comparable to a dominion." The Dark Demon Lord was acutely aware of what this meant. In the chaos or other realms, being able to exert dominion-like power was a quantum leap. This development meant that future invasions of other realms by the Dark Demon Lord or the Dark Demon domain could be undertaken with ease. There would be no need for protracted campaigns. A direct intervention by the Dark Demon Lord himself would suffice to conquer other realms. Elated beyond measure, the Dark Demon Lord now held the sphere of demonic clouds. What did the mere divine realm amount to now? This time, Lin Fei is undoubtedly doomed, he thought. And the divine realm will be completely overtaken by the Dark Demon domain. Once we occupy the divine realm, it will certainly elevate the Dark Demon domain to greater heights. A glint of cunning flashed in the Dark Demon Lord's eyes. With the sphere of demonic clouds in hand, he left the Dark Demon domain and headed straight for the divine realm. A year had passed in the divine realm, a rare period of outward calm, particularly from the perspective of the Dark Demon domain. However, internally, the divine realm was anything but peaceful. Every force within the divine realm was frantically searching for minor worlds. This relentless pursuit of world origin lasted the entire year, with all collected resources being funneled to Ancient City. Many had already surmised that the one in need of this world origin must be Lin Fei, the martial ancestor, now the sole hope of the divine realm. The entire realm was prepared to provide whatever Lin Fei needed, no matter the cost. Inside his chamber in Ancient City, Lin Fei continuously fed the incoming world origin into the realm core of his eternal realm. This world origin, transformed into realm power by the core, was incessantly remodeling Lin Fei's eternal realm, or rather, elevating it. Now, after a year of uninterrupted supply thanks to the efforts of the Azure Emperor Supreme and others who had delivered substantial amounts of world origin, Lin Fei's eternal realm was on the verge of a significant transformation. The progress was evident: 91%, 93%, 95%, 97%, 99%. Despite nearing completion, Lin Fei remained composed, his mind as still as water. This transformation felt natural to him. Ever since he had acquired the realm core, he knew that this evolution was inevitable. No essences of flesh, no growth of sentient life, and no need for powerful life forms within the eternal realm were necessary any longer. With the realm core, nothing else mattered. As long as the realm core could continue converting world origin into realm power, the eternal realm would keep advancing, never stopping until it reached the status of a realm. Finally, the moment arrived. Lin Fei's eternal realm began to expand wildly. It grew tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold, even 10,000-fold, expanding thousands of times over because it had transformed. It was no longer a true monarch-level world but had become a true immortal-level world. A true immortal-level world is a powerful domain capable of birthing true immortals and martial ancestors, akin to the legendary ancient world, another true immortal-level world. Compared to the countless minor worlds and the significantly fewer true monarch-level worlds, true immortal-level worlds are extremely rare, numbering less than 10 across the entire divine realm. The transformation of Lin Fei's eternal realm continued, signaling that while it had reached a new echelon of power, the evolution was far from over. This was not just a change, it was a qualitative leap, setting Lin Fei on a path that could potentially alter the balance of power not just in the divine realm, but across multiple realms. Lin Fei suddenly opened his eyes, his mind buzzing with anticipation and questions about his current status. With the eternal realm having transformed into a true immortal-level world and his power potentially increasing tenfold or even 100-fold compared to before, he was not merely on a different level, he was on an entirely different plane. Host: Lin Fei. Martial realm: martial ancestor. World level: true immortal-level world, progress 1%. Illusory realm: supreme level. Seeing his world level now marked as a true immortal-level world and the progress already at 1%, Lin Fei understood that his eternal realm was still advancing, still transforming as long as it received world origin. However, achieving further progress would require significantly more world origin. Martial realm remained at martial ancestor, which meant that despite his enormous power, he was not yet considered a supreme. Could it be that I only attained the supreme status once the eternal realm evolves into a realm? Lin Fei mused softly to himself. He was nearly certain that was the case. Only the transformation of his world into a realm could elevate him to supreme status. But for now, Lin Fei felt an overwhelming surge in his power. He was confident that even if the Azure Emperor Supreme and the other 8 Supremes joined forces, they would struggle to defeat him, especially since he no longer needed to rely on the power of the illusory realm. Just the force of his eternal realm was enough to slay a typical Supreme, and even the Dark Demon Lord should they meet again. However, Lin Fei was in no rush. With the realm core still in his possession, he could continue to ascend. If the Dark Demon domain remained quiet, all the better. That would allow Lin Fei the time to gradually evolve his eternal realm into a full realm, achieving true supreme status. Once he reached that level, what threat could the Dark Demon domain pose? Lin Fei alone could then easily sweep through the Dark Demon life forms without needing any help. The leap from a true immortal-level world to a realm was a qualitative one, requiring unimaginable amounts of world origin and potentially a very long time. Time was precisely what Lin Fei lacked the most. I hope the Dark Demon Lord will grant me more time, he murmured, before closing his eyes again to continue absorbing world origin and reshaping his eternal realm. Chapter 646. The Return of the Dark Demon Lord. In the Yin-Yang Immortal Domain, the stronghold of the Dark Demon Domain, times were tough. The forces of the Dark Demon Domain had been confined to the Yin-Yang Immortal Domain, daring not to expand due to the pressure from the Divine Realm. Many cultivators from the Divine Realm had even ventured into the Yin-Yang Immortal Domain from time to time, causing conflicts with the Dark Demons, and the results were mostly unfavorable for the latter. The Supremes of the Dark Demon Domain had issued a stern command: endure. As long as they could bear the pressure, the Divine Realm would not dare to launch a major assault, primarily because the forces of the Divine Realm were also unsure about the current state of the Dark Demon Domain and were unaware that the Dark Demon Lord had returned. However, the Dark Demons had been waiting patiently, hoping for the expansion that would only be possible upon the Dark Demon Lord's return. Time dragged on, years passed, and there was no sign of him. Many within the Dark Demon domain began to worry. Could it be that the Dark Demon Lord had failed to find a way to counter the Divine Realm and Lin Fei, the martial ancestor, who had become their biggest adversary? Lin Fei's presence had essentially paralyzed the Dark Demon domain's ability to operate freely, confining them to the Yin-Yang immortal domain. Has the Ruler Lord not returned yet? We've been waiting so long, could something have gone wrong? Those people from the Divine Realm are detestable. True immortals and martial ancestors daring to provoke us in the Yin-Yang immortal domain. In the past, I would have torn them apart, but now... Many of the Dark Demon domain's powerhouses were holding back their anger, a fire building within that they couldn't vent. They had come to conquer the Divine Realm but now found themselves hiding and even unable to retaliate against provocations from Divine Realm cultivators. This situation frustrated every Dark Demon, but they were restrained by the commands of their Supremes. Normally, their belligerence would have pleased the Dark Demon Supremes, it showed their willingness to fight. But under the current circumstances, it was a time for patience, and the continuing strain was nearly at breaking point. Only the return of our Ruler Lord can resolve this mess, murmured the Supreme Yuan Mo softly. Suddenly, a familiar voice echoed, lifting the spirits of everyone present. Why the long faces? High spirits, that's good. From now on, you no longer need to hold back. There will be plenty of opportunities for you to fully vent your anger. At the sound of this familiar voice, the faces of Original Demon and the other Dark Demon Supremes lit up with surprise and joy. Your Majesty. With a whoosh, as the voice fell, the Dark Demon Lord stepped out from the void, appearing before everyone. As the Dark Demon Lord appeared, all present, including the Supremes, respectfully bowed in his presence, invigorated by his return. The presence of the Dark Demon Lord meant that their days of forced restraint were over, and they could now engage in battle with the cultivators of the Divine Realm with confidence. The Dark Demons had never feared warfare. Rise, the Dark Demon Lord commanded. I have returned to the Divine Realm with a method to deal with Lin Fei, the martial ancestor of the Divine Realm. Once Lin Fei is dealt with, there will be no one and nothing in the Divine Realm that can stop us. With the return of their leader filled with such confidence, the mood among the dark forces was jubilant. At last, it's time to counterattack, exclaimed one of the Dark Beings. When do we begin the counterattack, Lord? Another asked eagerly. I can hardly wait. The Divine Realm has only 8 Supremes, even with Lin Fei, that makes 9. They are insignificant, sneered another. We can completely occupy the Divine Realm within a year. The confidence among the Dark Demons was palpable, their faith in the Dark Demon Lord was unshakable. In the Dark Demon domain, he stood unchallenged, his words taken as gospel. If he declared that Lin Fei could be dealt with, then they believed it without a doubt. Without Lin Fei, what use would the remaining 8 Supremes of the Divine Realm be? It's a dead end for them. This time, we will bring some surprises to the Divine Realm. We will turn our passivity into aggression. Isn't Lin Fei, along with most of the Supremes, in Ancient City? He mused coldly. This time, all our Supremes will move out together to Ancient City. We will obliterate Ancient City right in front of Lin Fei and then slay him. Let him die in despair. The Dark Demon Lord's eyes were cold and filled with murderous intent. He had never contemplated sparing Lin Fei. On the contrary, he wanted Lin Fei to die in utter despair to quench the hatred burning within him. Yes, Your Majesty, agreed the dozens of Dark Demon Domain Supremes respectfully. There's no time to delay, we depart now, declared the Dark Demon Lord decisively, unwilling to procrastinate any further. Leading the group of Supremes, he tore through space, heading straight for Ancient City. At that moment, Ancient City remained as tranquil as ever, peaceful, secure, and prosperous due to Lin Fei's influence. Now, virtually the hub of the Divine Realm, it teemed with activity. Countless cultivators, whether martial or immortal cultivators, and even exotic beasts, had flocked to the city, making it somewhat congested. Naturally, for the Azure Emperor Supreme, expanding the Ancient City was no difficult feat, hence, no matter how many came, they would not truly congest the city. However, due to Lin Fei's presence, Ancient City had indeed entered an era of unprecedented prosperity. In Ancient City, many seemed to have forgotten that war ever existed. They appeared to have forgotten about the Dark Demon Domain and its ferocious demonic beings. After all, it had been nearly 2 years since any disturbance emanated from that quarter. It seemed as if the Dark Demon domain had completely fallen into silence. Many cultivators had ceased to pay it any heed. Yet, some true immortals and martial ancestors had not forgotten the threat of the Dark Demon domain. In particular, the Dark beings still occupied the Yin-Yang immortal domain and maintained control over it. The Supremes of the Divine Realm showed no intention of retaking the Yin-Yang immortal domain. From these observations, one might infer that this was merely the calm before the storm. Currently, neither side could do anything to the other, they could only maintain the status quo. But once this balance was disrupted, war would inevitably ensue. It was uncertain, however, towards which side the balance would tip. Swoosh! Suddenly, ripples of space appeared in the skies above Ancient City. Space ripples were not uncommon, true immortals and martial ancestors frequently traversed space, and in Ancient City, such occurrences were hardly out of the ordinary. Yet, these particular ripples, expanding in concentric circles like ripples on water, were extraordinary. Such commotion was certainly not the work of just one or two martial ancestors or true immortals. The number must have been considerable. Moreover, from these space ripples, a strange yet familiar aura was faintly discernible. Some who had previously encountered dark demons in the Yin-Yang immortal domain and had battled them recognized this aura. Their faces changed dramatically in an instant. This is the aura of dark demonic life. Could it be that the dark demons dare to come to Ancient City? And on such a large scale, could it be that the dark demon domain has finally made its move? For a moment, many true immortals and martial ancestors gazed in shock at the void above Ancient City. Chapter 657. The Dark Demon Lord descends upon Ancient City. Lin Fei emerges, battle erupts. Whoosh! At that moment, the Azure Emperor Supreme and the other 8 Supremes soared into the void. They sensed something amiss. The instant spatial ripples appeared over Ancient City. With eyes narrowing slightly, their expressions grew stern. Swoosh! Suddenly, a figure emerged from the void portal, followed by another, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, until dozens of figures had appeared. Each emanated an aura so formidable it was clear they were not mere beings, but the Supreme lives from the pinnacle of the Dark Demon domain. Dark Demon Lord. The Azure Emperor Supreme recognized the Dark Demon Lord at first glance. Having been silent for nearly 2 years, it was believed that the Dark Demon Lord had retreated to the Dark Demon domain. But now, he had returned, and not alone but with an army of Dark Realm Supremes. Clearly, his intentions were transparent. He aimed to obliterate Ancient City and all the Supremes within it. Thus, the Azure Emperor Supreme immediately communicated telepathically with Lin Fei. "I have returned," the Dark Demon Lord proclaimed loudly. "Azure Emperor Supreme, where is Lin Fei? Without him, you stand no chance against me." The Dark Demon Lord stood with his hands behind his back, his gaze sweeping over all, showing a blatant disregard for anyone but Lin Fei. To him, only Lin Fei, the martial ancestor, was worthy of his attention. The Azure Emperor Supreme's expression darkened as he responded coldly, "Dark Demon Lord, your aggressive approach to our Ancient City, is this a declaration of war? If it's the war you want, we are ready to oblige." The 8 Supremes unleashed their own formidable auras, clashing violently in the void. "Just you," scoffed the Dark Demon Lord. "Not enough. Lin Fei, if you do not show yourself, I will begin a massacre, starting with the entire Ancient City." The Dark Demon Lord's voice boomed, echoing in all directions as he revealed his true demonic form, radiating a terrifying aura. He could easily destroy Ancient City, even with 8 Supremes opposing him. The Supremes looked sullen, aware that the Dark Demon Lord's threats were not idle. If he chose to, they truly could not stop him from annihilating Ancient City. But at that moment, as the Dark Demon Lord's declaration hung in the air, a calm voice resounded through the void, "Dark Demon Lord, as you wished, Lin Fei has arrived." The next instant, Lin Fei's figure appeared below the Ancient City. Step by step, he ascended as if climbing an invisible staircase in the void, slowly making his way to confront the Dark Demon Lord. Lin Fei, the martial ancestor, now stood face to face with the Dark Demon Lord. His demeanor was composed, showing not a trace of fear but a serene calm as he gazed steadily at the Dark Demon Lord. Ah, what a martial ancestor Lin Fei is. Even at such a time, he remained so composed. "However, there's no need for you to bluster. You're well aware that since I have come, I undoubtedly possess the means to contend with you. And in merely a year or two, how much could you possibly improve? You're not even a supreme yet. I'll give you one last opportunity. Leave the divine realm, and I will let bygones be bygones. Surprisingly, the Dark Demon Lord was still offering Lin Fei a chance. This was certainly not a gesture of kindness from the Dark Demon Lord. He yearned to slay Lin Fei. But he had to be rational. Perhaps Lin Fei also had his own cards to play, his own strategies. Even though the Dark Demon Lord was confident in the power of the sphere of demonic clouds, with the probability of defeating or slaying Lin Fei exceeding 90%, it was not, after all, 100%. Lin Fei still possessed that minuscule, nearly insignificant possibility of turning the tables. If possible, the Dark Demon Lord did not wish to face even this sliver of risk. Not even this minuscule risk. Thus, if Lin Fei would willingly depart from the divine realm, it would indeed be most favorable. Leave the divine realm. Lin Fei slightly shook his head. His gaze, fixed upon the Dark Demon Lord, turned icy. Dark Demon Lord, make your move. If you lack the means to crush me, today might well not go as you wish. In fact, after today, you all will be driven out of the divine realm by me. Lin Fei was unapologetic. Illusory realm. Boom. Suddenly, the illusory realm descended. Once the illusory realm had fallen, apart from the Dark Demon Lord, the other supreme beings of the Dark Demon domain could not withstand it. Naturally, it would only be a matter of a few breaths before these supreme beings would awaken. But these few breaths were a moment of life and death. If no one stopped Lin Fei, who knows how many supremes would perish. Yet, Lin Fei did not move. He just stood there silently in the void. Without any disturbance, because his gaze was locked on the Dark Demon Lord. His illusory realm had no effect on the Dark Demon Lord. The Dark Demon Lord was the key. Even Lin Fei could feel a faint sense of threat emanating from the Dark Demon Lord. This sense of threat was ever present, clearly showing that the Dark Demon Lord was well prepared this time. Again with such tactics. Indeed, a method capable of suppressing the spirits of supremes is quite unique and magical. Sadly, you cannot suppress my spirit. And this time, I will surely kill you. A sharp gleam flashed in the eyes of the Dark Demon Lord. The next moment, the Dark Demon Lord made his move. Swoosh! With a wave of his hand, a colorful orb of light flew from the hand of the Dark Demon Lord, violently smashing towards Lin Fei. Sphere of demonic clouds, seal. This was the sphere of demonic clouds. After the Dark Demon Lord unleashed the sphere of demonic clouds. Immediately, the chaos-heavy water within the orb began to release strands of sealing power. The chaos-heavy water is not only exceedingly dense but possesses boundless strength. It hits its mark without fail, no matter the target. Even more dreadful is its sealing power. Once sealed, it becomes exceedingly difficult to struggle free. Observing the sphere of demonic clouds, a surge of peril heightened within the depths of Lin Fei's heart. He knew the sphere of demonic clouds was no trivial matter, even capable of posing a threat to him now. Consider that Lin Fei was now of the true immortal rank in the eternal realm. After reaching the true immortal level world, his powers had increased by more than 100-fold. Moreover, as the essence of his world continued to accumulate, Lin Fei's eternal realm was still advancing. As for the current extent of the eternal realm, even Lin Fei himself was unclear. The one certainty was that his eternal realm was now immensely powerful, so mighty that not even a supreme could withstand a single blow from him. However, facing the sphere of demonic clouds, Lin Fei felt threatened. Without a moment's hesitation, he unleashed a punch. Boom. Instantly, the void shattered. Even the laws and rules that governed this segment of the void were utterly obliterated. With his current punch, Lin Fei could shatter any true immortal level world. Even the laws of the divine realm meant little. Such a fearsome punch took the Dark Demon Lord by surprise. He could hardly believe it. How had Lin Fei become so formidable in just 2 years? Yet, the Dark Demon Lord was also relieved. Fortunately, he had taken Lin Fei seriously, even daring to wield the sphere of demonic clouds. Otherwise, facing Lin Fei, whose strength had surged so dramatically, it wouldn't just be about contending with Lin Fei, even his own safety would be in jeopardy. Thank goodness for the sphere of demonic clouds. Even if your strength has soared, as long as you haven't surpassed the supreme level or haven't reached the ruler level, you are undoubtedly doomed. The Dark Demon Lord scoffed coldly, his gaze intensely fixed on the collision between Lin Fei and the sphere of demonic clouds. Chapter 648. The collision of the true immortal level eternal realm and the chaos heavy water. The sealing power of the sphere of demonic clouds was truly terrifying, originating from the chaos heavy water. The Dark Demon Lord did not believe that any supreme could contend with the chaos heavy water. Perhaps only a ruler within their own domain could block the chaos heavy water. But certainly not Lin Fei. Within the divine realm, no one could withstand the chaos heavy water. Boom. At last, Lin Fei's punch collided fiercely with the sphere of demonic clouds. The sphere of demonic clouds, containing a vast amount of chaos heavy water, was inherently extremely heavy. The strength it possessed was unimaginably immense. Not to mention its sealing power. A faint glow emerged from within the sphere of demonic clouds, falling directly onto Lin Fei. Instantly, Lin Fei's whole body shook. But indeed, his punch had already struck the sphere of demonic clouds. Crack. In an instant, Lin Fei's bones seemed to fracture. But likewise, the sphere of demonic clouds was smashed away. This power of a seal. Lin Fei struggled, struggling violently. He was indeed sealed. It seemed that all his strength could not be exerted, locked down by a mysterious force. However, the sphere of demonic clouds was also smashed away. As for Lin Fei's fractured bones, what of it? In an instant, Lin Fei could recover. What? My sphere of demonic clouds was smashed away. Seeing that Lin Fei had actually smashed the sphere of demonic clouds away, the Dark Demon Lord was greatly startled. He knew all too well how terrifying the power of the sphere of demonic clouds was. Even he, facing it head-on, unless he was in the Dark Demon domain, could not withstand a single blow from the sphere of demonic clouds. Yet now, Lin Fei had directly, forcefully smashed away the sphere of demonic clouds. This could only prove that Lin Fei's current strength had even surpassed that of the Dark Demon Lord. Without the sphere of demonic clouds, even the Dark Demon Lord would be in great danger. Fortunately, I made a decisive decision to control the sphere of demonic clouds. In such a short time, Lin Fei could even smash the sphere of demonic clouds, which is simply unbelievable. Therefore, Lin Fei must not be allowed to remain. Fortunately, although Lin Fei's strength is strong, it seems that he was also sealed by the chaos heavy water within it. Seeing Lin Fei sealed, the Dark Demon Lord finally breathed a sigh of relief. If Lin Fei truly could not be thwarted even by the sphere of demonic clouds, then the troubles of the Dark Demon domain would be significant. Not to mention invading the divine realm, even the Dark Demon domain might not be safe. Thus, the Dark Demon Lord was now brimming with murderous intent. He even thought of paying any price to kill Lin Fei, to eliminate future troubles. To allow Lin Fei to continue growing would be truly too terrifying and too dangerous. At this moment, Lin Fei remained motionless. The binding power of the chaos heavy water was indeed terrifying, rendering even Lin Fei completely immobile. Yet, Lin Fei was not the least bit perturbed. Formidable though this binding force was, it was not his sole tactic. Or rather, it was not Lin Fei at his most formidable. Lin Fei's strongest state was always his transformation into the world itself. Since Lin Fei could not move, he simply decided to transform into the world. He was curious to see whether this sphere could also bind his eternal realm. After all, his eternal realm was now a true immortal level world. What terrifying force would be required to fully bind a true immortal level world? Eternal realm. With a mere thought from Lin Fei, a rumble resounded, and the eternal realm was manifested. Lin Fei transformed directly, and his vast eternal realm began to expand continuously. Even under the suppression of the chaos heavy water, Lin Fei's eternal realm still managed to spread unceasingly. A buzz sounded, and for the first time, the binding force showed a hint of loosening. The Dark Demon Lord saw clearly as the sphere of demonic clouds vibrated incessantly. Even the chaos heavy water within the sphere trembled as if enduring immense pressure. In the eyes of the Dark Demon Lord, Lin Fei's transformation into the world represented a colossal realm. As it expanded, the sphere of demonic clouds' binding power was continuously suppressed. How is this possible? He wondered aloud. Lin Fei can resist the binding power of chaos heavy water. Even his transformation into a world amidst such vast quantities of chaos-heavy water cannot be fully bound. What level of world is this? The Dark Demon Lord was astounded. If the binding power of chaos-heavy water could not confine any world, what could? Yet, now the reality was evident. As Lin Fei's eternal realm spread, the chaos-heavy water within the sphere of demonic clouds truly could not completely bind the eternal realm. Even the sphere itself vibrated violently, obviously enduring tremendous pressure. A soft pop sounded after an unknown duration. Lin Fei felt his body relax. Subsequently, he no longer felt that sensation of being restrained or bound. The sphere of demonic clouds' binding power had vanished. Or rather, Lin Fei had already broken free from the sphere's confinement. Impossible. The Dark Demon Lord's face twisted as he witnessed the scene, a look of astonishment flashing in his eyes. He seemed almost unable to believe it. The sphere of demonic clouds and the chaos-heavy water, upon which the Dark Demon Lord had pinned his hopes, truly could not bind Lin Fei. Lin Fei had broken free from his shackles. What level of power must Lin Fei possess to break free from the binding of chaos-heavy water? Ruler. Without a doubt, Lin Fei's power had now reached a level comparable to that of a ruler, possessing such formidable strength wherever he went. Otherwise, the chaos-heavy water would have surely bound him. The emergence of a ruler meant something profound, and the Dark Demon Lord understood this well. Despite his disbelief, the Dark Demon Lord made a decisive command. Retreat. The Dark Demon Lord was resolute. He understood that it was no longer possible to slay Lin Fei. In fact, even his own safety was at risk. Thus, he promptly withdrew the sphere of demonic clouds. With a flicker of his figure, he then darted into the void, fleeing precipitously. Yes, he fled. None had anticipated that the Dark Demon Lord would flee. At that moment, the Supremes of the Dark Demon domain widened their eyes in mutual astonishment, deeply shocked. How could the illustrious Dark Demon Lord, the ruler of the Dark Demon domain, flee? Yet, this was the reality. Lord, how could he flee? Moreover, so hastily that he didn't even inform us. Let's go, we must flee immediately. After all, if even the Lord has fled, there must be a reason, and we shouldn't stay here to die. Clearly, the Lord could not contend with Lin Fei. Even Lin Fei's power far exceeded his expectations, posing a severe threat to him, prompting him to flee at all costs. Many Supremes in the Dark Demon domain quickly realized this. However, their escape would not be so easy. At least, Lin Fei would not let them go easily. Eternal Realm, gather. With a thought from Lin Fei, the Eternal Realm rapidly expanded, majestically sweeping across the area and violently enveloping dozens of the Dark Demon domain Supremes within it. Still, a few Supremes, the fastest among them, ultimately managed to escape, not being swept up by Lin Fei's Eternal Realm and finding their narrow escape. But the remaining dozens of Supremes were not so fortunate, suppressed by Lin Fei's Eternal Realm.